No go for a push to dismiss a high-profile murder case.
A judge today refused to toss the indictments for 3 men charged in a double homicide linked to the former Tru Colors brewery. WECT's Emma Dolan-Mayer went to the courtroom today and has details tonight on the motion. What did you hear, Emma?
John Dyrell Green, Omonte Bell, and Raquel Adams, the 3 men accused in a double murder at the home of George Taylor III, will stand trial after appearing in court today. Cordries Tyson and Brianna Williams were shot to death in this home on Providence Road in July 2021. Tyson was a validated gang member who worked for Tru Colors, a brewery that hired gang members. It's now out of business. Green, Bell, and Adams were charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, 1 attempted count of first-degree murder, and felony conspiracy. In an exclusive interview in 2021, shortly after the 3 men were arrested, Sheriff Ed McMahon said the accused killers should not be on the streets.
From my opinion, from what they've been charged with, that they are, ruthless, vicious criminals who do not need to be in any community.
The attorneys are also motioning to reduce the bonds for the 3 accused killers. The hearing will resume tomorrow morning at 9:30. Emma Dolan-Mayer, WECT News.